As an actor, you're always hungry and greedy for different roles. You know, I always prefer that I should do something which would really make me do something extraordinary, or where I just challenge myself.
हम साथ में एक दूसरे का हाथ पकड़ के not actually, but in terms of there was a lot of artistic collaboration happening, a lot of artistic energies being exchanged. And if your co-actor is not solid, and no matter how amazing a job you're doing over there, it's just gonna fall flat.
Remembering those medical terms, which that was again
Quite a task.
Yeah, because my entire education is in Marathi. Spinal cord को हम लोग मज्जा रज्जू बोलते हैं.
Sheikh here, and with me today I have the class of Mumbai Diaries, welcoming Natasha first. Of course, you started your career with Times Fresh Face. You were the fresh face and now you're working in Mumbai Diaries. Tell us about your experience altogether.
Yeah, I think it's been quite a journey ever since, because I remember doing Fresh Face and that happened out of the blue, and I won it and I was like, okay. And that really opened up doors for me after that. Cut to, I'm sitting here doing a show like Mumbai Diaries 2611, which has been directed by Nikhil Advani with so much of detail and depth, and I just feel extremely grateful and lucky about the fact that I can be part of such an amazing show, because it's a very special show. This is the first time it's an actual ode to the medical fraternity and a very, very different perspective on what has actually happened. And I think just working with such amazing, talented actors, and just, it's an absolute privilege to work with them. They are absolute delights, and every time I've shot with them, they just have such amazing energies. Just bouncing off that is just amazing. So yeah.
Talking to you, Mohit, you have always played tough roles, and this one, of course, is completely different as the characters you have played so far. So tell us something about it. Like, how difficult was it? Because it's somewhere related to the reality.
Well, yes, it. Sorry, I
just got serious.
having a gala time right now, because all of us have met after really long. It's been a year and a half to finish the shoot, and we were all waiting that this show should come out soon. So we all are very excited right now. So that's why we're having a gala time. To continue from what you asked is, as an actor, you're always hungry and greedy for different roles. You know, I always prefer that I should do something which would really make me do something extraordinary, or where I just challenge myself. So when this opportunity came along, first and foremost, the first thought that came to me was like, wow, this. It's very rare. I don't think, maybe I'm missing one or two, maybe, but in the history of Indian television or OTT or films or whatever you say, there are very few subjects that have focused on medical fraternity. So I think this was an opportunity which I just wanted to grab, and as soon as Mr. Advani directed me what he was thinking of making, and the kind of team that was involved, be it the director himself, Mr. Nikhil Advani, be the writers, Yash, Anushka, Nikhil Gonzalez, they wrote the screenplay. Then Sayukta Chawla wrote the dialogues for us, and then we had Amin Bhai Ka action, and then we had Kaushal was the DOP, and technically we were all strong. Then we had like Konkana with us, we have Shia with us, we have Tina with us, but unfortunately they are not present right now. So the entire cast and crew, it made an opportunity that could not have been missed. So I just grabbed it, and I'm really glad that it is finally coming out on 9th of September.
Yes, we're all
because this is genuinely, sounds very cliche, but this is genuinely something which is very different, which is going to hit the chord with the audience. That's what I firmly believe in.
Talking to you, Mrunmayee, you have been a part of Marathi cinema, you have done Bollywood films, and you have been famously known for, for your dancing skills. So completely, from that character and, doing completely different and, coming to this project, how was that turnover for you?
The journey is beautiful. I mean, the Sujata's character is completely different than what I have played till now. But I think that's the beauty, as Mohit also rightly said, that as an actor, you are always hungry for different kind of roles, which should be different than your earlier work. So I think this series, this work, और पढ़ाई मैंने लाइफ में कभी इतनी पढ़ाई नहीं की. So I really had to study for that role, which was very new to me. Then remembering those medical terms, which that was again
Quite a
very,
task.
yeah, because my entire education is in Marathi, and then again, स्पाइनल कॉर्ड को हम लोग मज्जा रज्जू बोलते हैं. तो
मज्जा रज्जू
बोलते हैं. So it is that different. So when from entering from Marathi film industry in Hindi, I'm really excited, and with this platform, like 240 countries, maybe we are planning to release the series and everything. So your work is seen by everyone from every corner of the world.
Audience.
So global audience. So I'm really excited, and I'm really fortunate. I really want to say thank you to Kavish. In the first place, because I got a call from them, and then I gave the audition, and I was selected. So started from Kavish, and now we are sitting here. So beautiful.
Kavish
journey.
is the person who did the casting for that guy show.
Kavish Sinha.
Kavish Sinha.
And you're seeing only 4 faces right now, which are the part of the primary cast. But there's Konkana Sen Sharma, the great Konkana Sen Sharma, Shreya Dhinwantari,
Effortless.
Prakash Vilavadi, Tina, and
Shreya.
the secondary cast. We call it secondary cast because the whole hierarchy and whatever. But each and every character is so beautifully written, and the way they've cast those people, and they fit so beautifully in those parts. So each and every face and each and every character is quite unique and beautifully done by each and every one.
I think people should watch the series because of casting. I mean, everyone has done a wonderful job.
I think it becomes a little difficult when this is something which is first of all, there's hardly any show which signifies and tells you the honest truth of what goes behind when in a medical fraternity. Usually हमारी फिल्मों में and हमारे shows में doctor comes and tells you आप बधाई हो, आपको बेटा हुआ है, या I'm sorry मैं नहीं बचा पाया patient को. But here you go behind that and you see what these people go through. They have their own personal issues, their personal anxieties, their fear, their insecurities. And they're dealing with that, but they have to keep this solid, strong facade and deal with all the problems. And over here, X amount of bodies are coming like back to back, and how you're dealing with it. It's been, हम लोग तो बस acting कर रहे थे, तो हमारी इतनी हालत खराब है. Just think about if I go back in time, and that must have been so frightening for the people who were actually doing it.
Who actually faced it,
But I'll remember, like, whenever I have a backache, I'm going to say Majjari Joot.
Majjari Pupus.
What's that now?
Lung pupus.
So did you actually get to learn a lot of Marathi words from her? Because I think she's excellent when it comes to that.
Yeah, she's my teacher. She's my sister. She was my go-to person on set always. I have sailed through the show because of just such amazing people, but she was my backbone throughout, and she is my sister. She's not yeah, she is, that for sure. So
She was
also and also my Marathi tutor, little bit.
And what tips did you guys take from Mohit? Because he's been in the industry since 17 years now, and he's done such a lot of projects and all. So what tips did you get from him though? Chilling and all.
Starting with this.
I think we were, to be very honest,
कुछ नहीं.
we were feeding off each other's energies, because it was a show where हम साथ में एक दूसरे का हाथ पकड़ के, not actually, but in terms of there was a lot of artistic collaboration happening, a lot of artistic energies being exchanged, and if your co-actor is not solid, and no matter how amazing a job you're doing over there, it's just gonna fall flat. So everyone is so good, and specifically Mohit Bhai. There are many times when he's taking the scene forward, and yes, we are a part of it, but there are so many times when you have to carry the entire thing on your shoulder, and the way he's done it, hats off to him. And so his energy, Konkana's energy, Natasha, it's her first major big show, but the kind of raw energy she has exhibited during the shoot is amazing. Her therav, her stillness.
She was just telling me before we started that, you know, when she used to come from school, she used to watch me on TV, and she had never imagined in her wildest dream that she would get an opportunity to work with me. So
I think
that has come true for her.
I think watching him as you know on TV, because my grandmom used to watch the show, and it used to kind of go on in my house, and I always knew that I wanted to be an actor, but never in my wildest dreams would I have thought. I've willed it to happen probably, but it's been just such an, you've done it. You've done it. So we're right here, and it's absolutely, it's all a very humbling experience. And I think just everyone is so different and specific. Like the Thera, the stability that Mrunmayee's character has, Sujata, is unreal. And even though as characters we might have our conflicts, but just feeding off all of that helps you push forward. And even Satya, I think he's a very, very accommodative person. So I think that becomes even more easy to work with. And even Mohit, I think we've done some really interesting scenes, be it technically or, you know, even an emotional journey. He gives that space. It's a very natural action-reaction process. You don't have to really put in that much. You don't need to be worried. So I think that is absolutely fine.
अभी आपकी तारीफ की है तो पैसे दे दो.
जो deal
I'll give you my...
off camera, there is a different deal which is taking place right now. We have to keep a note of it. But Mohit, like talking about your character, it's actually very intense, you know, getting into that character, you know, seeing those bodies and, you know, somewhere that experience altogether. Have you seen, like, personally, when, you know, on TV, when all this entire issue had happened, you know, that time, you know, when you were preparing for the role, what vibe did you have while preparing for the role?
You know, I have a very, I don't completely remember it clearly, but my father was a doctor. So my father was posted in the villages of Kashmir. So in the evening, or maybe whenever he had finished his working hours, he used to come back home, and then whenever there was an emergency case in the night, the village people would call him and he would go to look what has happened. So whenever he used to come back, through his body language, I used to understand that was he able to save the person, or was he able to not save the person. So I always kept that thing in my mind. His reaction to it was very different, you know. On medical grounds, when they take the oath, their oath is like to give their best, you know, irrespective of the result. So it was very tough for me to do that. But we were fortunate enough that we all went through the workshop. I still say we have a group also. We call ourselves as fake doctors. You know, we all try to portray we are doctors, but we are all fake doctors. So we learned the hard way. We had long workshops. We had a lot of opportunities, reading sessions. It really helped us. You know, when the captain of the ship is like Mr. Nikhil Advani, who's known for his great work, be it D-Day or be it Batla House. You know, he's the one who takes the event-based stories to a different level altogether. So I think it was his vision we had to follow. So readings made it easy for all of us to understand what he is looking for. So giving it back to him wasn't that difficult.
Okay. And Satyaji, like, you know, this question is to you. You are playing an intern doctor, and on the first day itself, he's putting you on, you know, on the job. And, you know, going by the character, of course, you're an actor, but, you know, you guys were actually like, you know, there were real bodies where you were working on. Of course, you know, they were covered and all of that, but, you know, real bodies and working in that, you know, that atmosphere. How tough was that for you?
It wasn't tough because the kind of preparation we went through, the kind of workshops we went through, it made the task initially, obviously on the first day of the workshop, it was quite a task for us to you know, hold the scalpel in a certain way, or, you know, do all the medical procedures. But by the end of it, you know, you need to be completely ready before you start the shoot. But there was this amount of nervousness which was there. And, you know, as a trainee doctor, when you start, for almost initial 6-7 months, you're just behind the main doctor, the senior doctor, and you're just making notes and trying to understand the diagnosis and etc. So all of a sudden, you're thrown into this situation where you have to treat people, you have to, there are open up bodies which are coming in front of you and you have to deal with it. So as an actor, I was in control of the situation, but the character is completely crumbling down.
Yes.
And you need to stay true to the character. So as a character, I was doing my bit, but as an actor, I knew what I had to deliver. And when it's written so beautifully on paper, the writers that we have, the amazing director Nikhil Advani we have, the technical team is so fine. The co-actors, you're feeding off, there's this scene where particularly Dr. Kaushik tells Ahan, you can do it. The character is crumbling down, but he's like, no, you have to do it because there's so many bodies. I'm looking after this, you have to look after that. For whatever reasons, someone can't do anything else, you have to. So acting is basically 90% is reacting to the other person. So if he's not giving me that passionate, intense energy, I won't be able to react to it. So it's a very give and take kind of a thing. So I think there was this whole beautiful interpersonal artistic relationship that we shared on set. That's why we could do what we could do.
What memories you guys have of 2611? Like where you guys were when the entire incident happened?
I was in Pune. So this incident, I was away from all the chaos. So we were safe, but we were equally worried about, our people, my relatives in Mumbai, and how people are suffering. And the TV was on, 24/7. We were glued to that idiot box. But for the first time in life, we didn't call it idiot box because
interesting.
Yeah, exactly, because that was the only medium we were getting all the news, and we were aware of the fact that now people are safe, or the police are
out there.
Are there and helping them out. So I was in Pune, but I have that memory.
I think it was frightening for each one of us.
Everybody.
Wherever we were, it really, at the end of the day.
Do you remember like where exactly you guys were? Like how she remembers, she was in Pune. Like do you remember where you were?
I moved to Bombay. I moved to Mumbai in 2007. It was 2009. I think, I came back from my college and I was down at the mess having my food, and then all of a sudden there was this police van, and that the loudspeaker they were saying, you need to get inside. And for almost 3-4 days we didn't step out because you didn't know what's going to happen when.
Yeah,
it was a very frightening situation for
and even the
us.
connections were cut off and all of that. That was very horrifying in fact. What about you, Mohit?
I was in a cab traveling to Mumbai. I was at the outskirts of Mumbai, but we were just forced to then go back because it was all barricaded and everybody, Mumbai was at, it was at standstill that point of time. So yeah, those were really difficult. I think, as I've said earlier also, we never expected the spirit of Mumbai to
Crumble down and
to crumble down or to come to standstill at that point of time. And so I think entire nation, everybody who was watching, I think social media was not at its peak at that point of time, so you had very limited information.
Yes,
so the information
and
on
honest
on
information,
TV,
true information.
Yeah,
Because nowadays it's all.
there was no WhatsApp, there was no social media. It was only that news channels and TV which you were glued to. So I guess nobody will ever forget those memories.
Yeah. What about you, Natasha?
I was
In 7th class.
I was in the 7th grade. Oh my God! This is so
Stop
like,
it, man.
That's
no,
a
so
joke
I was in the 7th or the 8th grade, I think, at that time, and my mum is a doctor, so she was working in one of the hospitals in town, and I remember asking her, how will you come back? Because she used to commute by train, and from there to my house, it was at least an hour of a commute, and all the horrifying news that was coming in from all over. I mean, I was really just hoping and praying that she comes back home safe. So she left, and she was in the transit. She was in the train, and it takes 1 hour, and it took her 3.
Oh.
We were constantly trying to reach to her, and everything was so jammed. We weren't able to get through her. And then she finally arrived home, and those 3 hours of my life were the most horrific experiences. But I think now when I look back and when I'm sitting here, I can say that kind of helped me while I was shooting for Mumbai Diaries.
Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed chatting with you. All the best for Mumbai Diaries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.